Our product's unique physical characteristics and low cost place GR in a unique position to fill a substantial market need amongst consumers and builders that seek environmentally sustainable roofing and siding solutions. We encourage you to consider investing in GR Green's revolutionary products and process. Thank you.
Our next company, they were not able to be here. Cleantech from Pullman was actually the winner in the Graduate League of last month's WSU business competition, and happily they supplied us with a short video.
Lubrication failure causes nearly $1 billion in repair costs per year due to unscheduled maintenance in hydropower and wind energy alone.
Hi, I'm Catherine Neal from Cleantech. We created safe, clean nanoparticles that replace toxic additives in lubricants.
This technology increases energy output by reducing friction more effectively. The best part about these nanoparticles is that their size and structure actually provide a reversal effect on friction-related damage. Current lubricants slow down wear, but do not repair it. Cleantech not only reduces friction, it can actually fix the damage caused by inferior lubricant alternatives. Because we can reduce friction and reverse wear anywhere, future applications include transportation, power, plastics, manufacturing, and the military.
And finally, Wave Energy Solutions, finally for this section, in the transportation category. They could also not be here, so I'm going to channel this. These are two engineers from the trucking industry, and we don't often think about sort of Midwestern type engine products, but we have a lot of expertise in that in the Northwest. And what they have come up with is, and it's a little hard to see, but that ring around there they're calling the wave barrel, and it replaces the crankshaft and is much more efficient in how it manages the piston. They're applying this to what are called Atkinson cycle engines, which a lot of your hybrids, Camry, Highlander, Sonata, use Atkinson cycle engines. And through this method, they claim, they can get 30 to 50% more thermal efficiency. The part that I find clever is if you think about how a piston rod goes up, it's always pushing at an angle. So even though the piston goes up, it's leaning against one side or the other of the cylinder. This has a perfectly perpendicular alignment all the time, so you have reduced friction, again, friction is a theme here, you'll see again one more, by having no lateral pressure on the cylinder wall. They're looking at a 15 to 30% fuel economy improvement using this. And this other slide is just to say the truck industry, which again, unless you're in the pack car space, a lot of people don't think about, but it's a huge business, upwards of $10 billion a year. Probably no other vehicle short of taxi cabs is used as much, 120,000 miles a year, not very good mileage. And the potential savings, they are claiming, 10 to 20,000 a year is enough that there's a real value there that they think they can monetize. So that is Wave Engine Solutions from down in Camas, Washington, next to Vancouver in Clark County. Now we have a bunch of Oregon ones that are going to come up here in a minute, but because this is the Washington Cleantech Alliance, I want to take a moment and review the 7 companies here in your state of Washington that are now in the Cleantech Open. I want you to give them all a round of applause. I think this is great news for building our community. And I do want to thank the Washington Cleantech Alliance for giving each of these companies a free 1-year membership. I kid Tom that we're one of the few organizations that is constantly providing them new members on an annual basis. And we really much appreciate the relationship we have with them. I must also, in fairness, mention the Northwest Entrepreneur Network. Daniel Rossi, who some of you know, was a finalist. Actually, his company won the University of Washington Environmental Innovation Challenge 2 years ago and was a national finalist in the Cleantech Open. He's now running NWEN, and he also provides free 1-year memberships to each one of our semifinalists. Moving right along, we have 2 companies this year from Idaho, which I'm very pleased we've been looking to break into that market. Viking could not be here, and frankly, the video didn't work, so all you need to know is this item here is a water dispenser. And what they do is down the bottom there, they're doing purification that also ionizes the water, oxygen injects the water. But the other part of this is they give you aluminum bottles like the ones that Keeney's has with little RFID tags around it, so you can keep track of this as sort of a prepaid subscription. They have these in several Tullys in Boise. They have a couple of these at the Microsoft commissaries. I actually got this off of a Russian fitness site, so they are getting publicity around the world. And that is Viking from outside of Boise. The other company from Idaho, which is actually a spin-off of Site-Based Energy, is a company called Retrolux. And what they're doing that I also really like is many of you have had home energy audits where they go around with a laptop that has a lot of analytics on it for your heating and the infrared around your door. This is doing the same thing for lighting, seeing how many lumens you have, how much you should have, analyzing what you're currently having, what's possible with the products on the market, and then carrying this data all the way through the savings calculation, the investment planning, and even guiding the installation. So those are our two companies from Idaho, and similarly I want to thank in absentia the Idaho Technology Council, which is a new organization in Idaho, analogous to the WTIA, and they have a segment called the ITC Energy Consortium. It's essentially the parallel to the WCTA in Idaho, and we're very pleased to have representation in the Gem State this year. Next, moving down to Oregon, Scott, if you could come up, our next company is from Corvallis, where we've had several contestants in the last several years in the Upper Willamette Valley, in the water and waste category, which is a lot of clean tech we think of as carbon and emissions, but air and water and soil are also part of our competition and a very important part of cleanliness. So this is Earth Fort from Corvallis.
Thank you, good morning. It's a great welcome here in Seattle. And John tells me we got 90 seconds. I planned on 120, so I've cut out quite a bit of information, but we can talk later. All right, so my name is Scott Smith. I'm CEO for Earth Fortification Supplies Company, Earth Fort. And I also brought Matt Slaughter. He's our founder, president, and lab director. Now, as experts in soil biology, mainly for agriculture, we make farmers more profitable. And following the earthquake and tsunami in Japan last year, many hectares of land were contaminated with radiation. And farmers like Mr. Ogata there, who's planting rice, cannot sell his crop if it contains any radiocesium in it at all. So we were asked if Earth Fort bioremediation technology would be able to help. So prior academic research had shown that broad spectrum biological inoculums like what we created Earth Fort could be effective. So we've got a field trial in Japan right now that is showing reduced measured radiation. And at Oregon State University, so go Beavs, at Oregon State University in the Radiation Center, a lab test there is shown that the simulated groundwater contained 55% less radiocesium than the untreated water, or untreated soil. And in the and they also did some with plants, and the plants were showing an uptake of 42% less radiation than the control group. So what we come down to is that yes, Earth Fort biotechnology remediation products technology can help in limiting radiation contamination in plants and in soil. So here at Earth Fort, we make farmers more profitable.
Bill, if you could come up. Our next company is Ameristar Solar in the renewables category from Banks, which is just outside Forest Grove.
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate most of the semifinalists, all of them, because this kind of presentation absolutely turns your hair gray. In my case, I don't have that problem. Okay, I'm Bill Boyk, founder and president of Ameristar Solar. Let's imagine you're investing in a company that ignores 30 to 40% of the daily solar opportunities and continues to do that for a 20-year life cycle. This is what fixed panel systems are selling to investors. Now, in contrast, the Ameristar tracker is the most kilowatt capturing, pretty simple, portable tracker in America. We differentiate ourselves from the competition with our current patent-pending rotating truss system, and we trap remote sites, set up in less than 30 minutes, and capture nearly 98% of all the available sunlight per day. Why is this important? It's all about reducing fuels used in generators and saving our nation's treasure and blood. The U.S. Armed Forces see solar energy as a way to reduce this demand and the risk to their soldiers' lives, both today and in the future. Why is this important to investors? Because our gross margins are close to 45%, and the U.S. Armed Forces are motivated, mandated, and ready to buy. Our strategy is to sell through mobile channels, both in physical and web mobile sectors, and we require $1.8 million for years 1 through 5 to dominate the portable tracker market. Let's get together and discuss this portable tracker market. Thank you.
And now, Chris, if you're up. We've been very pleased in the last several years. You may know there's quite a motor vehicle community down in Oregon. Jeff Allen's Drive Oregon organization. I've seen some four-wheel vehicles down there. We've had 2 3-wheel vehicles from Oregon in the CTO the last couple of years. They have 2 wheels there. Last year, our 2-wheel electric vehicle was from right here in King County, Motovolta. And so this year we finally ride at the 1-wheel electric vehicle. Chris.
Thanks, John. So picture a conventional motorcycle, chop it in half, throw the back half away, and then sit on the handlebars. It's all electric. It's 12 miles an hour in the city, 25 miles an hour in off-road. It's got a 20-mile range, $4,500. It's super fun. I mean, just as a side note, I supported Washington State University 2 years running. They did a fantastic job. They did our dyno test stand for me and a bike rack for the back of an RV. But this product, keep an eye on it. It's going to be a blast. It's a huge market. We found a sweet spot in the middle of a 30 million unit e-bike market. It's like a personal escalator for San Francisco. It's a John Deere tractor off-road. It's going to be huge, so keep an eye on us. Google 1-wheel motorcycle or Rhino Motors. We're 150,000 lead bags on Google right now. My YouTube videos are up over 600,000 views. It's a media magnet. Thank you very much.
Soul and Sphere, I'm just going to read through this real quickly. They were not able to come, obviously, because they're from Klamath Falls. But they did come up earlier this year for the University of Washington to get an Environmental Innovation Challenge. And I'm just going to jump to this diagram here. Basically, the idea is to combine thermal and electric. So they have a reflector for thermal, but also that top part there is a photovoltaic. So the thrust is you're getting both electric efficiency at a certain level plus thermal efficiency. So you're just getting, like two bits in one. And they have been working very hard on this, and you will see later in this year how their business plan develops. Regenergy are a bunch of folks that came out of the Intel facility, and their very simple idea is to capture the energy in the waste exhaust. If you've ever stood in front of a heat pump compressor, it blows tremendously. Put some wind capture thing there. And this is not for houses. These are for these large data centers and the semiconductor fabs that Intel have. All have huge cooling equipment. So this is called exhaust energy recovery technology. And I'll just jump through that. NADAC Systems, another company from Portland in the green building category. Their idea is simply to combine security systems with a lot of McKinstry like heating and ventilating efficiency, so it can recognize when rooms are not occupied, not only by motion detectors, but by retinal scanning card key systems and so forth. So their issue is to control building services, also lighting, based on real occupancy, and they think there's an advantage to be had there. Emma Design is named for Mr. Emma in West Linn in Clackamas County in the efficiency category. Very quickly, it's somewhat like Wave Energy, except they're looking at Stirling engines, and those of you who know Infinia, that's a WCTA member, they use Stirling engines, which are thermal compression engines rather than combustion engines. This, rather than the crankshaft, is the roller bearing but Emma's designed something he thinks is more efficient. Also has precise piston placement, so there's no lateral pressure that reduces friction and so forth. They're applying this to Stirling engines, which they think they have a better design for. They're applying these so-called combined heat and power systems for small offices and residences. So that's running through it. These are the semifinalists from Oregon, and David, are you still here? I want to acknowledge David Kenny from the Oregon Built Environment and Sustainable Technology Center. They've been our great partner in Oregon as WCTA has been up here. We're very grateful for their help. 2 of their entrepreneurs and residents are going to help mentor Oregon companies this summer. These are your 7 companies from Oregon. And I also want to thank the Oregon Entrepreneur Network that, like WCTA and NWEN, is offering a free 1-year membership to each of the Oregon contestants. So, we are now started. These folks are going to go off, as Byron said. 1 week from today is our national conference where they will all be exhibiting, like these tables here, down at the Santa Clara Convention Center. And then next weekend is our 30-hour MBA program, as I like to call it. So I just want to again thank our sponsors very much. And our partners, including the Washington Technology Council. If you want to see these folks come out the other end and see all their displays, please come down to Portland on Tuesday, October 9th. That will be our 4th annual trade show expo. The registration will be online right after the 4th of July. We're going to have Ron Pernig from Cleantech be our keynote speaker. He's just publishing a new book on the future of the clean tech economy. And Jason Rissanen, who is the national, much like Mike is the national. It's interesting, you know, we have these national clean tech leads, but they're in the Northwest. Jason is the national clean tech lead for Deloitte, and he's going to be speaking. I hope you'll all come down for that. And with that, we are done, and I turn it back to Tom. Thank you very much for letting us embed ourselves in your annual meeting.
So the last thing I need to do, would you all stand up, please? So the hardest job here is Maureen Takaoka's job, who not only has dealt with probably all of you, and every single one of you thought you were the only problem that she had, but she's dealt with everybody brilliantly, and she had to deal with a cranky executive. Turn around, face her, and give her a standing ovation. And thanks for coming, everyone.